Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kate, or I go by AlwaysMoreSims here on YouTube, and today we're doing another speed build. So this house is going to be the new house for whenever we can raise the money for it, for my FEGG challenge, or for every generation there's a genre. So my sim, Kelsey, married a man named Robert. However, well, he wasn't initially named Robert. He was originally named Carl, but he was renamed to Robert. And I think it'll be one of those things that'll make more sense after all the kids are born, because I already have all the names picked out and stuff, and like 2 of the kids' names are gonna start with K, and 2 of the kids' names are gonna start with R. And I just felt that it was weird to have, like, okay, so like Kelsey's name starts with a K. So then we'd have like the 2 kids that like matched her initial, but then there'd be the 2 kids that didn't match, and for me that really bugs me. That really bugs me. Like there's a family I babysit for, and 2 of the kids their names start with G, and then the other kid starts with J. And it's not even that they all make like the, you know, like how some G's sound like they make like the J sound. Like George. Like, for instance, it would be like George and Jack, or like it's like a hard G for both of the G names. And so anyways, it really bugs me that there's 2 kids with the G and then 1 kid with the J. I'm like, you could have just had that. Anyways, so that's kind of where that's coming from. But anyways, because Kelsey married an adult, he has a very limited amount of time to have all of the kids. So we are going to be I've literally figured out that she will get pregnant, have the baby, like a day after the baby is born, she has to get pregnant again. You know, go through oh, wait, hold on. My apologies. This house actually only took me like 2.5 hours to build. But the thing is, like, I started building this house just a little after 5 o'clock, and I only just finished it like 15 minutes ago, so at like 9:15. So even though the house only took me 2.5 hours to build, I got interrupted so many times building this house that I was like, I had the game open twice as long. At one point, I actually forgot to pause the recording. So I had to go cut that out. But yeah, anyways, so Kelsey's husband is so old that I have figured I need to be like popping out kids again. She gets pregnant, has a baby, day after the baby is born, she gets pregnant again, has the baby. Like that's just how we're gonna have to do it. So all of the kids are gonna be really close in age. And the house that we're living in is a 2-bedroom, and I already determined that I wanted the kids to share bedrooms. So we're gonna have like 2 kids in one room, 2 kids in another room. And like I could do that with the house we're living in, but at the same time, like the house is kind of tight, and I could just see having 6 Sims plus Tiger, which is our cat, and we're probably gonna get another cat at some point. I would like to have 2 cats. I don't know if we're gonna do 2 cats, but I would like to have 2 cats. But even just with Tiger, with just having the 1 cat, like it can, like, routing issues. It's The Sims 3. They do not route themselves well. So I decided I was going to build something different and see, because we live in Hidden Springs, I was like, this house should look like a cabin, because I was going to call it Kelsey's Cabin, and it doesn't look anything like a cabin. This house does not resemble, it gives very farmhouse vibes, and I was not going for farmhouse initially, but it's just kind of what it became. So even though Tiger's Abode also does not make any sense, there is a subtle, like, I think it's technically zebra print. However, I'm claiming it as tiger print. And it is kind of sprinkled throughout the house. Like, in our current house that we're living in, the chairs are all, like, the dining room chairs have, like, a zebra print. And Kelsey's sleepwear, like, her sleepwear shorts have zebra print. And there's just like little pieces of like zebra print like sprinkled throughout the house, and I did the same thing here. So like the seat patterns are zebra print, and there's like a very subtle, it is in like very light gray and white zebra print rug in the living room, and I'm pretty sure the bedspread is also like gray and white zebra print. And but it's not zebra print, it's tiger print, okay? Because if you didn't know, so each generation of this challenge I'm trying to base off of one of my favorite books. And for the most part, I've managed to figure out a book for like each generation, but there are some generations, like the next generation, I was really stumped on. And like I figured out what I want to do for the next generation, but for a while I was really stumped. I'm like, I don't know who I'm going to base the next one, like the next generation off of. And actually the character, I guess, that I'm basing the next generation on, like our heir, the youngest child born, isn't actually from a book, which does kind of bug me, but at the same time their name fit with like either starting with an R or a K, and this character is also a doctor, because the next generation is medical journals, so I was like, well, it works, but this character is from a TV show, not from a book series, which kind of like bugs me, but I'm like, don't worry, they're just oh well. At least I came up with something. So, yeah, every character or every generation is based off of a book character, or kind of. So, like, the first generation was children's books, but the thing is, like, I didn't really have necessarily, like, a favorite children's book. Like, now when I think about it, I probably could have, like, started the challenge with like a male sim and named him Jack, or maybe a female sim named her Annie, because I loved Magic Treehouse growing up. So now that I think about it, probably should have done that, but I did not. So I named our founder, her name was Kita, which was, I just took kids and traded the S for an A, so it was Kita instead of kids. And then Kita had 2 kids herself. She had a son named Harry after Harry Potter, and then she had a daughter named Diana because the second generation was based off of biographies. And see, I don't really read biographies, however I find Princess Diana extremely fascinating, and I love watching documentaries on her, reading articles about her, stuff like that. And while I don't think I've ever read an actual biography on Princess Diana, I was like, I think that's what I want to do. I think that's who I want to do the second generation with. So, Diana was our second, she was our heir for the second generation. No, Barnes. I have foster puppies, and I really don't want them to, they're waking up, and I think it's because I've started talking. They're going to start whining. They're in their crate beside me. No, you go back to sleep. You have been a pain in the butt tonight. Yeah, you. She's been, like, peeing on everything, and, like, their names are Barnes & Noble. Fitting as I talk about a legacy challenge that's supposed to be based off of different genres of books, but, Barnes, specifically, has been a really big pain tonight. Again, like, she's been, like, chewing on, like, stuff she shouldn't be, which, I mean, part of that's, like, typical puppy, but at the same time, like, I haven't had the issue with her chewing on these things, like, and they go back to the shelter, on Friday, so this speed build is actually going up, the week after, so they went back to the shelter exactly a week ago, but I've had them for almost 2 weeks now. And, like, she's chewing on stuff she hasn't chewed on at all in the last 2 weeks, and now she's peeing on everything, and, like, yeah, tonight it's just been very frustrating. But anyways, yeah, so I just figured that because we're having kids so quickly, and because our house is kind of tight and kind of small, I'm like, we'll just make a little bit bigger house. And it is a pretty decent sized house. I think furnished, it's like 80,000 simoleons, which I'm hoping we'll be able to afford. I'm going to try and keep some of the stuff in our house. Like, at the end, I went back through and I actually deleted a couple things. Like, I exported the house and then I came back and deleted some things that I didn't actually want in the house when I placed it. So, like, I got rid of the science machine, because Kelsey's lifetime wish is to, like, master the science skill that came with university. I believe it came with university life. So, like, we already have one of those, and we already have, like, a computer, so I went back through and I deleted the computers. Oh, I should have deleted the washer. And I didn't fully furnish, like, I didn't furnish the nursery. I only furnished one bathroom. I didn't furnish any of the upstairs because, one, I didn't want to make the house more expensive than it already was, and two, I was like, I'll just bring the nursery stuff that I already have, possibly grab some of the bathroom stuff I already have. We'll just have to see. I think it really all depend on, like, how much, like, how close we are to affording the house. So, yeah, I don't even know when we're moving into the house, because, again, I don't remember how much money the family already has. So, like, I don't know how much we would be able to afford the house, like, and if we sold all of the furnishings of the stuff I didn't want from the current house, like, I don't know. So, I don't know if we'll move in, and then, like, if we might have moved, I don't think we moved in this past, in, like, the part that went up on Monday. Might move it on the part that goes in this upcoming Monday, though. I don't know if that sentence just made any sense. Okay, so if you've been around for a while, now we're getting into story time. If you've been around for a while, you might have heard me, like, talk about how I never do anything with my hair. I don't like change. I really struggle with change, and that involves, like, cutting my hair. So the last time I seriously cut my hair was, like, 8 years ago, I think. 8-9 years ago. And, like, I, like, cut it off. Like, I had it wasn't pixie cut. It was a little longer than chin length, and I hated it. Like, I regretted it the minute she started cutting. But I didn't have, like, the guts to say stop and, like, try and, like, fix what had already been cut. But I deeply regretted it. I went home that night, cried, refused to look at myself in the mirror for, like, the next, like, week or two. I hated it. But I had let my mom talk me into it. She's like, don't you ever just want to do something different with your hair? Because at the time, like, I'd been growing it out, and because as a kid, my hair was always short. My mom always kept my hair, again, like, chin length, always kept it pretty short. And I didn't like my hair short. I wanted it to be long. I wanted to be able to pull back in the ponytails and do all the fun braids and stuff like that. And I couldn't because of how short my hair was. So I'd started growing it out. And I let her talk me into cutting it all off. Again, one of the biggest regrets of my life. That and getting my ears pierced. Like, hated it. But, after that, like, I decided I was going to grow it all out. I'm like, she will never talk me into cutting my hair again. So, you might know where this is going. I wouldn't say, so I did cut my hair, a little bit. So, my hair was, okay, this just to be, like, completely, like, I don't really know how else to put it. So, like, we're, like, a bra strap, like, typically, like, wraps around your waist, or, like, your middle, like, around your ribs. My hair was just a little bit longer. Maybe I'd say, like, my hair came to, like, the bottom of my rib cage. So, it was pretty long. Again, I've been, like, growing it for, like, the last, like, 9 years straight. Like, I had a couple inches taken off, like, a year ago. Like, I think I cut off, like, 2 inches. That was because I hadn't, like, when the pandemonium hit, I wasn't able to go see, like, anyone to get my hair cut, and I just had, like, all these dead ends and stuff, so I had that trimmed off, which ended up being, like, 1.5 inches, 2 inches. Other than that, I haven't cut all my hair. I tried doing some, like, very subtle layers around my face, like, a couple months ago, and I didn't mind it. I'm like, that's different, that's good, like, that's all I need to, like, because I was kind of getting the itch to do something, but at the same time, I was like, I'm too terrified to do anything, so we just did, like, very subtle layers, like, barely layered at all, just to kind of frame my face. Well, my friend and my mom both kind of nag and, like, kind of make fun of me for never doing anything with my hair. Like, my mom's always like, you never do anything with it. Like, aren't you tired of your hair always, like, being like that? And when are you going to cut it? And, like, how long do you actually want your hair to get? And isn't that too long? Yeah. So, like, stuff like that from my mom. And then my friend is like, well, all you ever do is, like, you don't do anything fun with your hair. You either put it up in a ponytail or you just kind of leave it down. And I'm like, yeah. She's like, and you, like, you braid it. Yeah. And, like, I have a, oh, thank you. Like, I have a peekaboo strip, so I have, like, a section of hair, like, right underneath my, like, right behind my right ear, that is dyed red, and it slowly, like, fades to, like, a pink color, and, like, I always thought that was fun. I always, like, when I was younger, I always wanted a peekaboo strip, so, like, I did, like, the red, and I always thought, I'm like, that's so, like, cute, because it's not, like, my whole head, and it's not, like, anything crazy, and it's something that, like, because I used to, like, touch it up, like, maybe once a month, and then it got to the point that I just forgot, and I let it go for, like, 3 or 4 months, and it basically faded back to my natural hair color, and so, like, if I really needed it to, I could, like, the color would fade out and my hair would go back to being its natural color. You wouldn't have known that like, the dye was there, because I'm terrified of all, like, permanently dye, like, having, not necessarily permanently, but, like, once you dye the hair, then, like, it never truly goes back to the original color and stuff like that. So anyways, I was really tired of, like, my mom and my friend always like, well, you never do anything, it's just the same thing, and, like, it's too long, stuff like that. So I cut off 4 inches, which is a lot for me. I don't think that sounds like a lot, but for me that was a lot. And then I really layered it. Like, it is very layered around my face. Like, like, the pieces in the front are, like, just past my chin, because I was concerned that I wouldn't be able to, like, still, like, braid them back. So the hairdresser left them a little longer, but I like, for me, it was, like, a really big change. And to me, it looked really different, but I got home on, I had it done, not this, see, for you guys, it's completely different. Just, like, add a week to what I'm saying. So it wasn't this past Friday, like, this past Thursday for me, but last Thursday. No, it was this past Thursday for me. So as of tomorrow for me, a week ago. Anyways, I got home and nobody noticed. No one said anything. I literally stared my parents, like, straight on, basically be like, look, notice I did something different, and neither of them noticed anything. Which made me feel like I'm gonna cry. Like, I did all this, I, like, chopped my hair off. Like, my mom's always telling me I never do anything. Now, see, my dad likes my long hair, and it's not that my hair is short, it's still pretty long. I mean, well, not super long. It comes down to, like, I don't know, maybe, like, just past, like, maybe, like, the top of my breastbone, maybe. I don't know. So then, like, the next day I'm on a FaceTime call with my mom, and that's when she notices my hair. She's like, what'd you do to your hair? I love it. I'm like, oh, okay, thank you for finally acknowledging it. Then we get home that night for dinner, and my mom literally points out to my dad, she's like, did you notice Kate cut her hair? And my dad looks at me, he goes, no. Like, he's like, no, I didn't notice. She's like, yeah, she did. And my dad goes, okay. That was it. That is all he said. Now, my dad is, like, my best friend. Love the man to pieces. He, like, we are, like, we're really close. And for him to, like, react so, like, nonchalantly and just, okay, like, hurt. And, like, even now, it's, like, I'm not crying, okay? I'm not tearing up. But it's still, like, that, like, sting is still, like, fresh, I guess. that like he just was like, okay, like meh. And like I get my like resistance for change, I get that from my dad. That comes from him. So like he doesn't like change. However, while I felt it was like enough change for me, I don't feel like it was anything super drastic. Again, it's not like I cut it all off. But that's kind of how he acted, and he acted like he didn't like it, and now like I don't know, now I'm kind of self-conscious about it. And then my friend hasn't seen it because she has a bunch of family that lives like 6.5, 7 hours away, and every summer they do like this huge 4th of July thing because her grandparents live on a lake, and like the community that like surrounds this lake does like a huge fireworks show. And so my friend was like, she's been gone. She left like the day before I went and had this done. Then she got back this past Sunday and then tested positive for the pandemonium, and so she is not allowed to leave her house, and I am not going over to her house because last thing I need is to be catching that. But I don't know, it's just like part of me doesn't think she'll realize it, because like, and I understand that like when I first started, like when I cut off a couple inches like a couple months ago or whatever, and then I started like doing the very, very subtle layers, like I understand it wasn't a lot, but at the same time I was like, surely someone will notice. No one noticed. And every time I went to the hairdresser, I had her like layer it just a bit more just to see if someone would notice. No one ever noticed. I'd been doing it for like 6 months and no one ever said anything. No one noticed. But it's one of the things that like my friend expects, that if like she does something with her hair, I'm immediately supposed to like pick up on it, and like she's like fishing for compliments, and like I don't fish for compliments. At least if I do, I don't realize that I do, I guess. Like I just kind of like, okay, so I did something with my hair. I was intentionally like pulling my hair like around my face. Like I was like trying to like keep it around my face, but I didn't want to just flat out say, hey, do you like what I did with my hair? Because like I'm not trying to like come off as, I don't know, would you call it vain maybe? And like honestly, I kind of feel bad talking about it here, but at the same time, like, you don't see my hair. You guys will not see like in like a webcam or whatever, like, oh my gosh, Kate, what'd you do with your hair? Or like, you know, or like I'd received like no one saying anything about it. Like that's not something I'd have to worry about, because it's like you guys don't see me. But it's like one of those things that like the people that see me every day didn't notice. And it took my mom noticing on a FaceTime call because I turned a certain way and like the hair fell over my shoulder and stuff, and yeah, I don't know. It's not that big of a deal. I'm making it into a bigger deal than it is. But yeah. What else should we talk about? I have to get a bunch of pre-recording done because starting this upcoming Saturday, I'm going to be house sitting. And they live like this house is like in the middle of nowhere, like 30 minutes away. And like it's one of the things, like it's not that I can just kind of like pop over and check on the dog and then come back home and like maybe record a video or something and then pop back over and then come home and like edit the video. Like I can't do that, especially not with gas prices as expensive as they are. So I need to get these videos done because I am supposed to be at her house from the 9th to the 18th. So I'm gonna be like practically living. It's a good thing I like her dog though. She has an Australian Shepherd. Her name is Juniper, and I love her to pieces. I love this dog to pieces. I house sat for her back in March. God, was that March? Guys, it's not supposed to be July yet. Okay, I'm kind of having like a mental breakdown over the fact that it's July already. My summer has like gone. Don't know what happened to it. It left the chat a while ago. But it looks like we're at the screenshots. But yeah, I apologize if anything goes up wrong. If it goes up late. I will try and get everything pre-recorded and scheduled to go up at the correct times on the right days, but please hang in there with me if something goes up wrong. But yeah, And go ahead and leave this here. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. My gaming channel is linked down in the description below. We've been playing Heavy Rain. I don't know if we finish it yet. If we haven't, we will be finishing it really soon. Then there's a new game coming out I'm really excited for, so stay tuned for that. My Twitter's also down there, but thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you on my next video. Bye, guys!